Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the channel. This time we're gonna do it kind of a little bit differently because this is more a narration. I am not going to show my face up in the corner because it wouldn't make any sense. There are gonna be a lot of jump cuts, and I'd rather not show my face going like, you know what I mean. So in this video, I'm gonna be disappearing in just a little bit, and we're gonna be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 because they finally released the gameplay, and I really want to give you my take on it because I am super excited. So here we are. I am gone. The first thing, of course, is character creation. First, this game is going to be no holds bar, and full frontal will be featured in the game. So for an adult gamer, that is great. So I don't know about you, but if I see censorship in a game, it kind of pulls me out of the story. And for that, I love CD Projekt Red already. So character creation here checks all the boxes. You can change the way you look, your backstory, and your stats. There's no class, but you can change that depending on how you play the game, which I think is awesome that you're not locked in. So you won't select a sniper and then all of a sudden you can't use close quarters weapons. You can do whatever you want in this game, full freedom, and I love that. So the single player is primarily first person with third person cutscenes. Kind of reminds me of Wolfenstein The New Order, and I think it's an awesome way to play through a game. It's like Mass Effect, but on steroids. Somehow the first person perspective makes it feel more immersive. So the Cyberpunk setting has always been a semi-favorite of mine. Blade Runner and Ghost in the Shell are favorite memories from growing up. And it's clear that the body mods are going to be a huge thing in this. It's going to play a huge role. So you also got to love the fact that there are other languages spoken than English, and the game auto-translates it on the fly. However, I'm not too sure about the hit counter when you shoot enemies. If it's an option to switch that off, I will. The cool thing is that you do have something called reflex boosters or other boosters that come up later as well. And this is, of course, bullet time, which I always think is a freaking nice touch. And it also looks like cover can be destroyed, which I think is cool. So the game also offers choices during the gameplay as seen, and it's also in this scene that you see that it doesn't hide anything. Now, of course, in here it does because I've censored it, but you get my drift here. So love the fact that they're going full on with the interface too, so you can make a hardwired connection between yourself and the person that is opposite of you. And here you're actually saving a life with the tools that are given to you. It does seem, however, that the trauma team that comes in later is kind of a bunch of uptight people.
Hey, give us a lift out of here? No problem.
And because it's a mature game, romance has a place in the game as well, but that should come as no surprise here. So here you see that switch from third to first person, which I think is kind of cool because you looked in the back and it's more like you're getting sucked into the story. It's almost like that Nintendo 64 GoldenEye, if you're old enough to have played that, where it's circled around Bond and then it puts you in his head. That's essentially what this almost looks like. So the city view looks great. You get a gun closet, which is probably going to be filled up to the brim as you go through the game and purchase things. And the same probably with the clothing in the closet. And the clothing is actually going to be able to change the way the world sees you. It's pretty much the same as the world we live in. If you wear a suit, people are going to treat you differently than you wear rags. It's just the fact. So the fact that they put this in the game, that's cool. Everything in this game is paid for with Euro dollars, and for me, being a Dutch guy, that's kind of brings a smile to my face because, you know, hey, it seems that in this world, this dystopian world, the United States and Europe kind of merged together, and they actually have a nickname for it as well. Instead of calling it Euro dollars, they call it eddies, and that's kind of cool because everyone has pretty much different words for currency as well, and to have that in a game just brings you that much more into it. Now the world looks very much alive with lots of stuff to look at and interact with, and the navigation looks like it will be super helpful as well. Nothing I dislike more than having to pull up a map every 2 seconds to look and see where you're going. In this, it looks like the HUD will help you out greatly so you don't have to do that. It's also going to be a seamless open world with no loading screens and thus nothing to stop you from interacting with anyone and nothing to kind of pull you out of the story because nothing does that more than getting a loading screen. The world is also absolutely filled with people, which makes it seem very much alive, and everyone has their own path to walk and lives their lives. So I really wonder what would happen if I pick a person when I get the game who's just walking down the street, and I'm just gonna follow him for an hour and see what is gonna happen. You know, if they go to home or whatever they do. So getting jobs seems to be word of mouth, which is very organic. It's kind of tied into your reputation, and I really hope that it continues throughout the entire game. So getting info on the job, of course, on a card inserted in your skull. So naturally, because it's Cyberpunk. So jobs also have multiple ways to be played out. So you can go in hot or you can be more diplomatic. So anything you do has consequences and can turn people and organizations against you. And sometimes stuff will go south anyway, so, you know, it is what it is. And it also does look like looting every dead body is going to be a thing in this game, which, you know, it's a role-playing game, so I'm not surprised. So you can get upgrades for your body at a Ripper dock, and it seems that the sky's the limit on upgrades, including weapons, legal and illegal, and military-grade stuff. All is available. And it also looks like it'll be a necessity rather than an option, because it's going to give you a lot more information. As you can see earlier, there was a different level as well, so I can only imagine that if you have one eye versus the other, it's going to give you more information, it's going to give you information quicker. And of course, the Mantis Blades are back too, which, yeah, I'm definitely a fan of those, and getting up close and personal with someone with those, it's going to be a treat. So drivable vehicles are in game too, and there's no limit on where you can go, and you can also be on bikes or other vehicles as well. So I wonder if you can just jack someone. And there's also, of course, nothing better than a good car chase. And in this case, these car chases happened because, you know, you stole and you shot up that place earlier in the video.
They're pulling ahead, Heiner. Watch it now. Got it. All right.
Vehicles can either be driven in first and third person. I personally don't mind the third person because it makes it easier to drive. And everyone knows that if you play any type of racing game, it's always nice to be able to have an overview in that case. So we're even treated to a glimpse on what you are capable of as a higher level character and all other abilities. So that ricochet ability, I think it's pretty cool. So explosives are a thing too, and one thing that's of course not a surprise, because this is Cyberpunk, high technology level. You can look through walls with certain mods, and of course you can loot a bunch of weapons, and there's a bunch of weapon customization options as well. So it's going to give you a lot of personal customization options while you play this video game, and I think that is a sign of a good RPG right there, because if you want to play that again, you can make completely different choices, and you're going to practically be forced to make different choices because there's so many things you can change in this. So I'm going to leave you here. I hope you enjoyed this footage. I am still super stoked. The conclusion that I had when I watched the official trailer from E3 still stands now. I'm super pumped, super stoked for this game. I cannot wait till it comes out. I would suggest you watch the entire 48 minutes of gameplay footage over at CD Projekt Red. I put the link in the description of the video for your convenience. As always, hashtag game for the sake of gaming. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you on the flip side.